You know what? I'm curious about flying to the Imperium. I don't think it's going to work. But we're gonna play stupid games again. It's this time of the stream. It's almost midnight. And yeah. We quick save, we will reload. Don't worry. Unless it works. Yeah. By the grace of the Emperor, I've been charged with chronicling the voyage that my blessed commander, Lord Captain Edward, intends to undertake through the turbid tract of the warp known as the Maw. The thought of what lies ahead fills our souls with terror, but we all have faith in the light of the Emperor. May his protection be with us now. And first, we charted the course for the expedition. Report from Navigator Sanctum. Lord Captain, we have locked onto the blessed light of the Astronomicon and are ready to make our first warp jump to the Hermitage. Once in the Void Station's orbit, we will carry out maintenance liturgies and with luck exchange information with other trade void ships that are using that region as a rendezvous point. The second warp jump will be made to the witch-cursed world, a foul and lifeless planet, at which point we will assess the state of the vessel. A third warp jump is planned to Port Wonder, where, the Protector willing, we will reach the vast expanse of the Imperium and we will abide there in safety. Message from the Astropathic Wire. Lord Captain, we once again draw your attention to the fact that the warp region of the Maw is more turbulent than usual. The Diviner's Vigil portends death for us, and much worse besides. This is not our first decade perceiving the void, and we have seen terrible storms, but none like this. We beseech you, please have mercy on us. If that be not your will, we will stand ready to serve until the end. My brain doesn't work, I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing so many words. After offering up the requisite prayers, the crew received a Vox address from the blessed Lord Captain, in which our commander... You never tried that, Alistair? I've been curious since the start. But I mean, the game really tells you, like, it's a bad idea. Our commander, we're going through with that, gave the order to initiate the jump to the Hermitage. We made it to the Hermitage, an outcome made possible solely by the Emperor's mercy. The ship has been chewed up by the ravenous Imperium, and madness has taken root across our decks and stalks among us, staring us in the eyes. The vessel is in orbit around the station, thronged by thousands of silent satellites, the jetonized bodies of the dead. I spent the entire jump in the murky depths of the Astropathic Wire Bay, where acolytes of the ship's surgeon walked back and forth in silence. After singing the healing liturgy from the beginning to the end, they marched among the Psykers who had been medicated into unconsciousness. Any Psyker who woke, often with howls of horror, was quickly pacified with a sharp jab from electrified baton. But my attention was wholly captured by Idira Telas. Gripping the shoulders of each astropath in turn, staring into their eyes, she compelled the raving Psykers to collapse with a visceral cry, curling up on the deck with all thought of resistance gone from her mind. How many did she save? How many would have perished without her? Every moment now, I hear a voice full of vehement ire. It is the voice of the Angel of the Emperor. It is so ferocious, my very blood fears it, fleeing my body through my ears, eyes, and nose. The Angel bade me compile a pic chronicle of the horrors recorded by the servo skulls in the ship's base. May whoever finds it know the torments we suffered before death. Incidents report. I saw the pic recording made on various decks with my own eyes. With horror and avid curiosity, I relish each bloody detail, drinking the stream of chaotic, incomprehensible scenes. Nameless dread blossomed in my soul. I saw a bloody massacre in the Engineerium, people armed with tools bashing each other's heads in. I saw a deck full of violently convulsing bodies covered in a layer of mold and sprouting grotesque fungi. I witnessed a crowd of crew members walk toward an opening airlock with mindless, exultant smiles on their faces, and be caught a moment later on a wave of air, and wrenched out into the cold embrace of nothingness. With my own eyes, I saw a gunner steadily hitting a large caliber shell with a wand, and inside a cogitator, I could just make out the bloody remains of an engine seer, impossibly squeezed in among the tangled wires. So much horror, so little hope. Agency report. Report from Agency deck. My lord, agrees me to report the demise of 27.61% of the blessed machine spirits entrusted to my care. Reactors 2 and 3 required expedited burials, and the deck's crew held a vigil on their memory. The servitors have locked at least 11 branches in the hull exterior, and at least 3 in the hull interior. With my lord gracious permission, I will endeavour to save what can still be saved. The Omniscient knows all, comprehends all. That sounds like a really bad idea. Aventure Station Situation Report. Scouting Expedition Report. I don't know. They haven't gone crazy yet, sitting in the middle of this warp zone. There are around 1,000 people there, a few hundred outcasts and anchorites living permanently on the station, and the crew of a trading vessel that barely made it as far as the Hermitage, and won't be departing ever again. It seems they spend whole days sitting under their crystal dome praying, eating ration packs, and watching as reality loses its mind. They say the Emperor will protect them against the coming tempest. Of course they do. He's the only thing they can trust in now. For them, there's nowhere else to run. We offered them passage on our ship. No one said yes. Mad, all of them. When the message came through the Voxnet, I struggled to hear it over the whispering of the angel in my ears. My honorable lord gave the order to make the warp jump to the witch-cursed world. Ooh. We're taking quite some damage. We are at the witch-cursed world, the place where we are doomed to perish. That is what the Emperor's angel told me, his voice almost impossible to hear. It bade me record every drop of sorrow. A chronicle will spread his word through the warp, and sow terror in all who come to know of our dire voyage. So speaks the angel, and my own thoughts are so muddled that all I can do now is submit and bear witness. Persuasion succeeded. As soon as the ship exited the warp, thousands of crew members assembled into teams, launched into repairing major areas of damage. The will of our fearless Lord Captain drove them, and in that moment I deeply envied their resolve. The Lord Captain's honorable companion Heinrix van Kallax personally led the ship's hands to the most seriously damaged decks. First, he admonished the cowardly crew members who refused to do their duty, and then he banished the fear from their hearts with a single shot. Verily, the man's mercy is great indeed. Low warp succeeded. I left the Astropathic Choir Bay and spent the jump in the Navigator's sanctum. Though the number of casualties was high there, many managed to survive, including me. Furthermore, when the malevolent tentacles of the warp reached into our souls and a bloody inscription in an unholy language began to appear on the bulkhead, the Emperor granted me the blessing of bearing witness to a miracle. Sister Argenta, entirely undaunted, marched up to the bulkhead and erased the words with a fearless swipe of her hand. She turned to us with a smile and said, "It is only blood. Do not fear the Imperium, for its nightmares are nothing before the Emperor's light." In that moment, I had faith that all was not yet lost. Today I believe I was mistaken. The losses and damages are enormous. They say there was mutiny, but Master Helmsman reports one that the odds of surviving another jump 400 are 0. The odds of a successful jump backwards are also 0, but 1-1, the second 0 is slightly less definitive. L systems are failing 1110011 in Coggy 1100 TED 00 Earth, experiencing periodic fail, stop, imitate, freight, Jurus, failure. Ooh, it gets worse and worse. Incident report. So we're dead. Not yet. The ship is holding. Gosh, there's so much to read. The big chronicle recorded by the eyes of the servo skulls made my heart stutter. In horror, I watched as a crewman, who seemed perfectly healthy, struggled against the shackles pinning him to an operating table, and a group of doctors, whispering excitedly among themselves, drew out their steel surgical instruments and eagerly began cutting into his flesh. I cried out as I watched the incense burning unholy incense. Why do I always read unholy? I cried out as I watched the incense burning holy incense and chanting the prayer to awaken the plasma generator's machine spirit. A young acolyte, his heart wavering, accidentally disrupted the liturgy, releasing the motive force into the power circuit before it was time. And my poor eyes were blinded by the white light of the explosion. After that, I was silent, for that was the only way I could continue to watch. Technomads in dirty coveralls reverently poured chalices of blood onto the base of a macabre tree, the weapon pointed upward, its supports outspread like branches, and hanging from them like ripe fruit were the bodies of the base officers. After tossing aside his discharged lasgun, the priest brought his fingers to their bleeding ears, and then daubed his crimson words on the bulkhead. Don't listen to him. He is no angel. Who was he talking to? Me? Colored roses, their buds bleeding, were growing through the bulkheads, which were covered with patches of rot. Crew members in black uniforms incinerated them with flamethrowers, weeping black tears and roaring with maniacal laughter. A string of people silently entering an airlock above which was written Hangar C-11-2 and were lost to the darkness. The deputy Cardock's artifacts, I knew the ship's layout well. There's never been a Hangar C-11-2. The unknown has touched our vessel, it has taken root in it, and now we are all in the clutches of the Imperium. Which Cursed World Situation Report? Agency Avalier's report from August Station 12. We must not take planetfall. I know what I saw, and no, we must not set down on that planet. It is not because the wind could tear the hull off landing shuttle in the blink of an eye, or because the temperature on the surface fluctuates between red-hot plasma and absolute zero. No, it's because planets do not have faces. But this one did. A vast face of jagged plateaus, eyes of fiery tornadoes, and a mouth made from a crater half a continent across. And I saw that face smiling at me. It saw me. It saw all of us. We must not make planetfall. Emperor, have mercy on us. Addendum. Agency Avalier was executed for hours after submitting this report for fomenting panic across the crew. Navigational forecast. Lord Captain, the crew of the Navigator Sanctum have virtually 1-1B lost the light of the Astro 010 Nomicon. Our only hope is to retrace our both in our thoughts and in our pain. Save us, or lead us to our deaths. We will follow you, no matter what. Report from the ship's confessor. Master 1199's report. Stop. The rousing speech from the Lord Captain, which was broadcast over the Vox system inspired the crew, who promptly broke into teams to repair the primary systems. The volunteers all departed, were later lauded in prayer. We can even press on! Over the static and the howling of the unholy warp spirits that had infiltrated our Vox system, we heard the voice of our Lord Captain, who ordered us to make the warp jump to Port Wender. We didn't make it. The senior officers from all decks gave a general report to my blessed Lord Captain. According to the assessments of all the ship's services, the chances of a favorable outcome of a jump to Port Wonder was 0. On behalf of the entire crew, they declared that serving under our glorious commander had been an honor, and if it was his will, they were going to forge onward and meet their deaths. Glory to House von Valancius and its valiant servants. We were prepared to die that very hour, and then the Lord Captain bade us. We will load anyway, so die. We get an achievement for that. You tried to reach the Imperium. I guess that's... you can't get further than that, I would guess. Huddled next to the Voxcaster, I, First Deputy Carto Artifacts, Sabalon Premix, scream into it, hoping that my voice will make some miracle break through the turbulent abyss of the Imperium into the real world. The Voxmaster's dead. Virtually everyone is dead. And I, disregarding the sacred Vox system protocol, scream my dispatch over and over. All Imperial vessels! Help! We are dying! Dying! We are... Die! Stop it! I'm afraid. I wonder if that is Nomos. And here ends the chronicle, which was discovered in the ruins of a ship expelled from the war. Your journey is over. Yeah, it was an awesome ride. Here's the end of our journey. No, of course not. But interesting. Also interesting that looking at the achievement, you can't get further than that.